Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Coffee and Conversations. I'm so excited today to welcome Kelly Mason, who works in our university events team. Kelly, you want to tell a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi everyone. Good morning to all of you. My name is Kelly Mason, Assistant Director of University Events, and I coordinate our institutional traditional events for the campus. So I coordinate block party, commencement ceremonies, Chancellor's Distinguished Lecture Series, and our office has the responsibility of coordinating events for the students and just making sure that we have a great experience on campus for everybody. So thanks for having me here today, Tiza.
Yeah, I'm excited. So as you know, it's called Coffee and Conversation. You got your coffee with you?
Yep, I've got my little otter.
Okay, we're ready. I got my kitty cup. All right, well, let's jump into our conversation. I was so excited to learn because we're in COVID land and we're dealing with remote learning and remote everything. That we're going to have a COVID compliant graduation type experience this year called Cross the Quad. And I think that's super exciting. So I was wondering if you could share with our graduating students, what will they be able to do in Cross the Quad?
Sure. Yeah. So I agree. Every semester we continue to make a little bit more progress as we endure the pandemic. And so I'm glad that we were able to make this additional opportunity available to folks. So we're still doing the virtual ceremony and we're still doing some mail celebration kits to any students who might not feel comfortable coming in-person experience. But we did have the option to create Cross the Quad. And getting back to kind of that tradition for the spring ceremony, commencement out on the Tivoli Quad is something I know so many of our students look forward to. And so we have come up with a plan where students are signing up for specific time slots on the Monday and Tuesday after the virtual commencement ceremony. So virtual commencement's its own deal, and then Cross the Quad is a separate event. And so students sign up for a time slot, and it's really cool because that is their moment. Like that, it's going to be their moment to cross the quad and cross the stage. So they'll check in, they'll get their honor cords, any of those other involvement cords. They'll go around the quad, have their name called, they'll cross the stage. Chancellor will be there to congratulate them, and they can get a picture with her as well, socially distanced, of course, as most are. And they can get a diploma cover, and then they'll continue off the stage and they can take their mask off for a photo with their diploma, get their mask back on, and then we'll have their celebration kit waiting for them at the exit, which has a t-shirt. We'll have some other fun swag items in there, as well as we welcome them as new alumni of CU Denver. So that's the general overview.
That's super exciting. As you were explaining about, they'll take their mask off, whatever. I'm like, ooh, we've always had, graduation caps have been decorated. I wonder how many masks we'll see decorated for graduation this year.
Yep. All right. And matching, extra points for matching.
There you go. So how can students or who can participate? Can family and friends come, or is this just the student? Like who is the participant?
Sure. Super important question. So we designed the event kind of, last summer 2020, there were farmers markets going on, right? And they had specific capacities, they had fencing around them, which was kind of atypical. And so I kind of used that as the inspiration, where we have a defined event space and then you have a capacity within that event space. And so the number of students that are allowed to register kind of get us up to that capacity. And so for safety reasons, we decided to just keep it to graduates themselves. But I'm very excited that we actually are inviting our 2020 graduates to join us as well. So the spring graduates and the fall graduates of 2020 who didn't have the opportunity to cross the stage are invited to participate in this event as well. And so far we're having pretty good uptake in registration for that. So we'll have 2020 grads and then the spring 2021 grads. And then we'll be live streaming the stage crossings as well. So all the loved ones, grandma out wherever she is can watch safely from home. Even if she's vaccinated, we just didn't want to encourage anybody to travel just yet. We want to take small incremental steps before we go full bore. So yeah, the students will cross the stage and families will be able to watch it live, or they can tune in later if, they might have to work at that time or anything like that. So they can watch it again later on if they'd like.
Okay, so that means literally students, you are the only ones coming. You'll come with your cap and gown, get your swag that goes with all that, the stoles and cords and all those other things if you have those, but it's literally just you coming to campus. So we are excited about that opportunity. Talk a little bit about how students register to participate in Cross the Quad.
Sure. Yeah. So students, I know everyone gets so many emails these days, but students who are on the approved to graduate list should be receiving emails from our office. If not, you can go to ucdenver.edu/commencement, and we have a big register here button on that page. You can register for the ceremony. For the virtual ceremony, you can register for Cross the Quad. You can register for a celebration kit to be mailed to you if you're not going to be coming across the quad. And then we also have the cap and gown ordering options as well, for students that want that gown rental. Ring purchases, class rings are really important to a lot of our grads, diploma frames, so you can frame up that diploma to preserve your hard work. So all of that information is on that website.
Awesome. So folks watching the video, in the show notes under the YouTube video, I'll actually put that website that Kelly mentioned, the commencement website, so you can find it there. Are there any rules that students need to keep in mind when we think about doing this COVID compliant, so everybody's healthy and safe?
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, I think it'll be interesting because not a lot of our students have had the opportunity to come back to campus. So it's really nice that we'll have a chance to welcome them back and have this kind of be the completing moment of their degree. So that'll be really exciting to welcome folks back to the Tivoli Quad specifically. I think that's a special place for a lot of folks. Yeah, so rules, a lot of the standard COVID rules that you're complying with when you go to the grocery store or anything like that, wearing a mask at all times, remaining 6 foot distancing from folks. We'll actually have little markers around the quad. I won't give away what they'll look like because that'll be a little surprise. But we'll have some cool markers for students to know where the 6 foot distancing is so you don't get too crowded. And what's nice is the registration itself kind of naturally spaces people out. So I think everyone will not feel crowded, will be able to have their moment in the stage. Yeah, so as long as folks are wearing their masks, staying distance from one another, we will require the campus daily health attestation. So students will just fill that out before they come to campus or before they enter the event space. And that'll be that, really. It's just a lot of the standard stuff that we've kind of grown accustomed to over this past year.
Okay. Well, let's wrap up with a question I haven't shared with you in advance, but I know that when I graduated college, like there were like 3 or 4 places on campus that were the place to go and take a picture. So if a student wanted to come and take a great selfie, they've crossed the quad, they've got their stuff, and they wanted to walk somewhere on campus, where are some of the places where a student might take a really iconic photo at CU Denver?
Gosh, you know what? That is tough, Tirza. I think we kind of have that with the Tivoli. I feel like that is the quintessential commencement location.
Ooh, will the giant links be blown up?
We will have Mighty Milo. He will.
Okay, good. Yeah. Okay, that's
a check-in. So yeah, students will actually have the school college feather banners that folks might be at block parties. So those will be available on the back of the quad as well. So like as students are walking, you can pause, take a selfie with Mighty Milo. You can take a selfie with your school college banner, cross the stage and get your photo with the chancellor. And then continue on. Students, I think, might go to other locations around campus, perhaps the Lawrence Street Mall where you get that view of downtown. Might be a good photo to take a selfie with, or perhaps a manual gallery outside the arts building, St. Cajetan's. Those might be some locations too, but really the Tivoli is the spot. So that will also fly the CU Denver banner that folks are used to seeing on commencement day. So we'll have that in the background as we typically do. So my goal is to make it feel as much like commencement as possible. We just aren't have the 10,000 chairs.
Right.
Nice, actually. The grass is thanking us, actually.
Okay. Well, students, as you think about that selfie, we don't want a traffic jam at locations. That's not the point of it, but we do know that sometimes is a great thing that you want to remember. So think ahead, where might I do that? And I love the things that Kelly mentioned. I think one of the iconic backgrounds for CU Denver also is just to stand on, and remind me, Kelly, what the name of the street is where you're seeing downtown behind us. That student
Lawrence.
So, standing there and just shooting and getting that cityscape, it's just, we're in a beautiful location. So, and don't hesitate to come back to campus another day with your cap and gown if that would be more comfortable for you to do that. But yeah, we are so excited that Cross the Quad is going to happen. It says we're progressing. And so we'll wrap this up. Is there anything else you'd like to share with folks?
Gosh, you know what? I just can't get across enough how excited I am to coordinate an in-person event. I know it's not the full commencement ceremony that folks are used to. However, I think it really is a great moment for us to set aside a time to recognize that student specifically and have them cross the commencement stage to just symbolize the completion of your degree. You know, you've worked so hard all this time, and just having that kind of symbolic crossing really just puts an exclamation point on your experience at CU Denver. So I just can't express enough how excited I am to coordinate this event for the students. And like you said, Teresa, it's just showing that we're taking steps in the right direction. And the other point that I'll put out there as we make steps towards future commencement ceremonies, students who participate in Cross the Quad or the virtual commencements, you can always come back for a future in-person commencement ceremony. So if you want to, do this and come to the December 2021 ceremony or the spring 2022 ceremony,
Right.
you can always come back. CU Denver has a policy where students can walk in any commencement ceremony after they complete their degree. And so I'm not keeping track anywhere of, Jeremy walked and Jay walked and Mariah walked. I'm not keeping track. So all you have to do is register with us and you can come. Nobody's saying that you have to only celebrate once. You can celebrate as many times as you like. So come on back. We'd be glad to have you.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Well, folks, we want to encourage you to sign up for Cross the Quad. Make sure that you watch the virtual commencement, and I'm assuming that's on Saturday the 15th. Is that right?
Yep, that's correct. And speaking of registration, registration for all of these events, for anything having to do with commencement, that closes April 20th at 10 p.m. Mountain Time.
Okay.
Sure, we always have some late stragglers at the very end who, like to get up to that deadline, and that's totally okay. But just know the deadline is April 20th.
Because they need to plan for you and they need to order things for you. So yes, April 20th. Thank you. I'm glad you put that in there.
Yes.
All right. Bye, everybody.
All right. Bye, y'all.